Howdy, everybody. I am Donut, and I'm here with my fiance.
They're right.
I have seen South Park episode 20-something.
I'm watching it blinds.
This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. And if you're not supporting that shit, you can get the fuck right out of here. This is Season 8, Episode 8, Douche and Turd.
I can only imagine that we are in fact going to get two animated characters much like in that towel-y genre.
Oh, okay.
So one is a douche, one is a turd.
Okay.
They're like a buddy cop system.
Alright.
That's all I got.
Alright, let's jump into it. If you want to see the full length, check it out for $4 a month on Patreon.
I was thinking of Mr. Hanky.
Yeah. So, what would you rate this episode?
Oh boy. It had some really good goofs, especially the first half. I'll give it a solid. I mean, it also has that sticky quality. I imagine this is one that people talk about a lot.
Oh yeah, certainly.
So, I'll give it a strong 7 out of 10.
I was gonna give it exactly a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about the episode first.
Oh man. Now I understand what you meant by this is one that we were doing at a really weird time.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst?
Maybe the worst, maybe the best, because we are doing this on January 7th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe, like, you know, I would have liked to have done this episode before the election.
Right.
I brought it up before the election in my comments, you know, reminding people they do not have to vote between a douche and a turd sandwich.
Right.
But, you know, it would have been more prescient to actually have done this then. Really, I did that on the last election episode.
Right.
You know, but...
Yeah. I mean, we recorded this one day after, you know, the coup at the White House.
Yeah.
So it's a little political.
It's not exactly... Like, It is a very, like, you know... It would be better if it could have happened before the voting happened.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
If you voted for Trump, if you voted for Biden, the flood is on your hands now, and that's... I don't know what to tell you. The blood's on your hands now. But, well, yeah, go ahead and talk about the episode.
It stuns me that so much of it is still, like, not that it's still relevant, because, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, since the beginning of time.
But I guess specifically, like, even, like, the little jabs, like, you know, all the, you know, you gotta go vote stuff.
Yeah.
Was so, like, that stuff hasn't changed at all in the last 16 years.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could have gone, like, the reason why I give it a 7 out of 10 is because, like, there's nothing that I really dislike about the episode. It's just that, like, there's a lot of it that was, like, they just went very light on it, or, like, just didn't, like, you know... It wasn't a very scathing episode. Like, especially with, like, the PETA stuff. Like, killed all the people in PETA, but it wasn't that, like, you know...
Yeah.
If funny. It wasn't that interesting. There's so... I hate PETA. I fucking despise PETA.
I mean, it was also the thing they do when they don't have any actual criticisms, which is, we're going to make something up and then say, this is why these people are bad.
Yeah.
As opposed to all the actual awful things that PETA does.
Yeah. Like, them fucking animals and everything. Like, there's, like, one or two parts of it, but it's just, like, they're just basically doing the same joke over and over.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Whereas there's 1,000 things you could, you know, make fun of PETA for. There's so much. I mean, they didn't even touch on any of this stuff. Like, PETA is like, they abuse animals all the fucking time.
Yeah.
They've killed so many animals. They are extremely genocidal towards animals.
Right.
But didn't touch on any of that.
Yeah. It was we just need a thing here to get rid of the mascot and then bring it back at the end.
Yeah.
Which is never great.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's nothing that I really dislike, it's just that, like, they could have done so much more.
Yeah.
Even, especially with the voting stuff as well. Like, I really like it, but it's not really scathing, it's just kind of them, like, they took a stance, but it's very loose.
Yeah.
Especially with the ending and everything, like, you know, it's the classic, we took a stance, but you can't really say, you don't come across this episode going, like, what is their take on voting? You know, they kind of just say everything.
Yeah.
And they kind of just wishy-washy about it all.
It's the perfect, we're releasing this before the election episode.
Yeah. Which was wild, because this is one of the elections, like, one of the only elections in a long time where the Republican actually won the popular vote.
Right.
With Bush. And, yeah, I mean, that's fucking wild, but, I mean, yeah, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved all the Kyle stuff as well. With the you have to vote. Voting is extremely important as long as you're voting for my guy.
Right.
It is. I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. This election was insane. Just seeing the amount of people arguing over a douche third sandwich. It was the most I don't know. Like, this is just the worst it's ever been, I feel like, with this last election. And so it's so fitting for this. Whereas every other time, it's been a very, surface level, everybody goes, yeah, I hate these two people, but we gotta vote for one of them. But then this election felt like a lot more people just being like, this person is a giant douche, and this person is an acceptable president that's totally fine and we're okay with. It was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Puff Daddy stuff is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So that stuff's like the most memorable stuff. Just the whole Vote or Die music video thing.
It's so good.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah, I mean, you should go ahead and talk more about the episode.
I do love it whenever you get South Park is just sort of a loosely held together cult.
Yeah. Like the banishing Stan out of the... Yeah. And we've basically done that before. Like when all the boys went to go live with the Mongols and everything.
Yeah. But, they are specifically a vote-based cult.
Oh, yeah. Extremely.
It is a really good stance to set up for future election episodes.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to explain it. You can just go, yeah, this is what South Park is like.
We've done it before. You know what it's like.
The pandemic special is probably this, actually. I didn't think about that.
I have no idea what the pandemic special is, so I don't know. But, yeah.
Giant Douche and Turd Sandwich do look visually very good.
Yeah.
I'm really upset that we did not actually commit to using one of them.
Yeah, it's definitely it's extremely iconic in the show.
Yeah.
When you think of South Park merge, definitely Giant Douche and Turd Sandwich is definitely so much higher than just the South Park cow. I mean, obviously.
Right.
But it is definitely out of universe feels like that as their mascot.
Yeah. I will say, it's cowardly that they didn't stick with one of them.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know, the cow thing is so iconic already at that point that I feel like they wouldn't want to change it. That's where I feel like they went with it rather than this is the one time where I'm defending them. I feel like it was we don't want to get rid of the iconic cow stuff, but they haven't done really a lot of stuff with the cow stuff in a long time,
and they're willing to get rid of the iconic Kenny.
I mean, they brought him back to do nothing.
Fair.
So yeah, I think that was their idea. I agree that having a mascot that was that interesting would have been fun going forward.
Yeah, I also like what little we got of Stan's family being torn apart by the election. Because it is the classic Stan brings something home. Randy acts he acts reasonable for 2 sentences, and then the two of them immediately break up and go, "Oh my god, this is impossible!"
Yeah.
Haven't seen Grandpa do anything in a while, though.
No.
He's kind of just around.
Yeah, but I get it. That is Grandpa's thing.
Yeah.
Just sitting there wanting to die. How do you feel about, Stan as the protagonist of this episode? And just we've been getting more of that kind of stuff. We haven't talked about that in a while. How do you feel about Stan as a protagonist now?
Still don't care for him that much. I like Kyle so much more now. Near the early... part of the series, I definitely said I couldn't tell them apart. Yeah. Now I definitely can.
Yeah.
But the problem is really just that Stan does a lot of protagonisty things. I've come to realize that I've been, consuming a lot of fiction where, it is more of an ensemble cast, and so you have the protagonist character, but then you can have, an arc or something focused on someone else. And then the protagonist character is always better because they're not the protagonists. So they can...
Wait, you said the protagonist character is always better than the protagonist? What did you mean to say?
I mean, when they are the protagonist and the protagonist character at the same time, they're bad.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But, if someone else is taking the focus, then the protagonist character can just kind of, they can devolve into being sort of a character of themselves, which ends up being a lot better.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I didn't think about that, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
They become more characterized when it's from somebody else's perspective.
Whereas, like, when we get a thing that isn't from Stan's perspective, Stan is still like Stan. He's still very wishy-washy, very undecided, very like, I'm the smartest person in the room, but also I'm not going to say anything, or I'm going to say the most obvious thing.
Yeah.
And I really wish that, like, if we were doing a Cartman episode, that Stan would be a bit stronger.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the I hate Cartman stance, but even that's, like, that feels like a default.
I don't think so. I mean, Kyle has the I hate Cartman stance, but
Sure.
Stan does not have an I hate Cartman stance. Stan has a just neutral stance on Cartman.
Yeah, I guess it's more of a, what you're doing is dumb.
Like, yeah, Kyle hates Cartman,
Yeah.
Kenny hates Cartman, everybody hates Cartman, Stan doesn't hate Cartman. Stan's just neutral, willing to put up with anybody's bullshit because Stan's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And
I would agree that, like, I think that I like Kyle a lot more. Because Kyle can also switch between playing a protagonist and a villain, at different times. And I think that is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Have we ever had straight up villain Stan?
I don't think so. Like, I don't believe so. We might have, there could be something I'm not thinking of, but I don't believe we've ever had just, like, a villain Stan. Like, we've had Stan does something, stupid or does something, like, extremely wrong, like the fucking Goobags episode or something.
Yeah.
But, like, that wasn't them portraying him as a villain.
Yeah.
That was just, like, Stan does something bad.
Yeah, and there's a big gap between those two things.
Yeah.
Stan does a lot of Stan does something bad.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see them do a Stan as the villain episode in order to get the characterization of, like, what is he like when he's at his most, I'm just gonna screw stuff up.
Yeah, because now I think about it, we even had a Kenny as the villain episode when he was trying to, like, punch his dad in the balls 1,000 times and stop his mom from having a baby and everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was a very Kenny is the villain of this episode, like, POV. It's like, yeah, we kind of got that for everybody but him. But Stan. I mean, I could be forgetting something, but, yeah. And maybe in the future as well.
Maybe.
I'm not saying anything
Of
about that.
course.
But, like, as far as where we are right now, I don't think.
Yeah. Really love the gag with Jimmy stopping everyone for 2 minutes straight.
Yeah. It's so good because I can see so much of myself in Jimmy. Or if somebody came up to me and they said, all right, Jimmy, or, Donut, which of these is funnier, Turd Sandwich or Giant Douche? I would be like, all right, say them both to me again. Say them. How much do I laugh at them? Okay, give me a minute. Let me think about the staying power of this.
Yeah.
The staying power is so funny to me as a concept because I get it so inherent.
Yeah.
And, like, Jimmy is right. Giant Douche is funnier than Turd Sandwich because it has the additional useless factor.
Yeah.
Whereas the Turd Sandwich, like, the Turd Sandwich that, like, is the mascot is funnier because it's a giant turd sandwich versus Giant Douche. But the concept of Giant Douche versus Turd Sandwich, Giant Douche is funnier.
Yeah.
It is. It's got the additional parody on top of the satire.
I love. We say it so rarely. We're paused right now on Jimmy's smile, and it's so good. Like, he smiles, fairly. Like, I think every time we see him, he gets a little smile. But this was a lot of, like, extended smile.
Oh yeah, and, like, I really love Jimmy's mouth. It's very different than like anybody else, and he doesn't have, like, a lisp, but it is just, like, a different shaped mouth because he has, like, a different kind of, like, not a lisp, but, like, a speech impediment.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I don't even mean the stuttering thing. I do just mean, like, in the way that, like, in the way that his throat is.
Yeah.
He definitely has, like, it's Matt doing the voice, but it's him putting on, like, some sort of, like, speech impediment on top of the stutter. So, like, yeah, the mouth being shaped like that is, it feels more natural.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing that, like, annoys me about this episode is that it is the straight up, like, these are exactly the same in terms of, like, being candidates push.
What do you mean? Like, expand upon.
The only part of the episode that ever, like, the only two parts that present a, like, this is actually a vote, as in these are two separate candidates, are when Jimmy's talking about them and he's, inherently trying to rank them in terms of how funny they are.
Yeah.
And then when Stan's parents are arguing and they're just talking about, like, whether that works as a thing that you can have as a mascot.
Yeah, like on merchandise.
Yeah. And I think, especially, like, for political episodes, I do dislike it when the episode is just sort of that candidates don't matter. Like, there's no reason why anyone would have a preference about a candidate. We do just put names on a ballot.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that shit. Because there are good reasons, regardless of whether, certain people are more or less informed than others. I think ultimately, you should look into the vote. If you are going to vote, you should inform yourself and have an opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Every time a new form of technology comes out, the person who is most in tune with that technology tends to win. Not because they are a better president, but because people get a better idea of what they're like. Or
Yeah.
they're able to present themselves in a way where people go, oh, I like this person for this reason that I wouldn't have thought about. Like, they have a nice voice on the radio.
Yeah.
Or they can carry themselves very nicely on television, and I couldn't see them before because, you know, we used to have, like, radio debates.
Yeah.
I
mean, that just still goes on now with internet, Barack Obama, you know?
Yeah.
It's still going on in the modern day.
Or Twitter,
Trump, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's exactly the same.
So, I really do think that for 2024, if people are going to do the vote or die thing,
Yeah.
it's gotta be actually look into these people, as opposed to the extremely centrist, extremely, like, you know, the best option for us.
Okay, got
Yeah.
interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
Ultimately, telling people to vote doesn't help unless they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Or unless you are, like, spreading information.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say the same. I fear for what the next election is going to be in terms of like what we talked about with the people getting elected via how they are able to present themselves
Right.
via new like technology or just new culture or whatever. You know, I am terrified of it. You know, like we are really getting into the most dangerous age now with the like willingness to ignore everything because they're a cool dude.
Yeah.
You know, or some shit like that. I mean, like Trump is a completely other story entirely. That's not a like, oh, people didn't see what was going on.
Right.
You know, you have both sides of it of like the monster that is like so obvious and is like wearing a t-shirt that says I am a villain.
Yeah.
And, you know, and everybody's voting for that. And then you have like the oh, I'm voting for them because they're a cool guy like Barack Obama or Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden's now like the one where it's like, it's not like technology. It is really just the, hey guys, I got my pronouns in my bio and what's up, gays? And, you know, it is that sort of like getting the liberals who think they are woke to, you know, be like, oh, he's going to put his pronouns in the bomb. That's nice. Which, you know, by the way, you have a Twitter account. Put your fucking pronouns in your bio.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Unless you're the fucking president, then just don't exist.
Also, never forget that pushing left does not, like, if you say you're going to push someone left, they can push you right.
Yeah.
That's a big 2016 meme.
Yeah.
That's a big ol' ha ha ha. There's no way Trump could possibly make me think that I'm a conservative. Ha ha ha. Oh god, I love Trump.
Yeah, we done with this one. We done.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
Bye.
guess that's it.
Wait, what's the next episode? I forgot about that. Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm so
Also, trivia.
Oh yeah, let's do trivia. Oh, God. I will say there's a lot of like new shots and new like it's still using the same animation engine and everything like that, but they're definitely getting better at it. Like the shot of the front school is like what I know it as now. Like it's not as like just extremely cartoony. It's a little bit more.
Okay.
It's slightly different. Like here, I'll actually go back to
Yeah,
it.
like, give me a shot of that.
Like yeah, the snow is a little bit heavy. It's not just like a white sheet. It has like fluff to it. It has wrinkles in it. There's like grass by the flag. You know, it's just a little bit different. It's slightly improving like the shots to make them look less flat. And like in the school, we got like so many more stuff of like the hallways and the entrance and like, stuff like that that I don't believe we have gotten yet. Maybe we have, but I don't think so. I love how they have this as a reference to this, like, as if it came up later in the future when Shelley called Cartman a turd sandwich at one point.
Oh.
She called him a turd sandwich, and they're like, and now it's coming back as the turd sandwich. I don't think so.
I'm actually really surprised that we did the, dad goes one way, mom goes the other way, Shelley is in between, or, Shelley just hates it, when she is the big turd girl. She loves turd.
She does love turds.
I mean, I guess she hates turds, but she says turd a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, not really any trivia. Not even really anybody talking about the episode. Just people were just saying, like, that was a political episode.
Really?
But they didn't really say anything about it. Yeah.
Huh.
There's not really any detailed, like, a reception of it.
Oh.
Very strange. I really thought there would be. But anyway, next episode is Something Walmart This Way Comes.
Oh.
We're finally getting the Walmart they said was here in South Park like 2 seasons
remember
ago.
that.
We'll see you guys for that. Until then, get the fuck out of here.